Hey guys, it's Liz, and we're flipping things. And buckle up, this is gonna be a wild ride. I got sued for something I sold on eBay. Welcome back, I hope everyone is doing well. It has been a crazy week for me, there is no other way to put it. I 100% got sued for something I sold on eBay, which did not expect. And I'm going to try to tell you guys how this happened, what happened. None of it sort of unfolded the way I thought it would. So to start, I was actually served via email. I received an email from a clerk, and the clerk was attached to a law office, and it said essentially, actually, I'll read you exactly what it said. It said, "Dear Liz Cause 12, that is the name on my eBay store. So that's like the identifier that eBay shows publicly. Our client, trademark holder identified in Exhibit 1, has filed a lawsuit against you for claims of federal trademark infringement and counterfeiting of its hygiene hand trademark. You have sold products in violation of our client's rights and have caused damage to our client as described in the attached complaint. This email is to notify you that you have been named in the above captioned lawsuit. Attached, find a copy of the complaint, summons, registration certificate, and the temporary restraining order and its extension. These documents can also be found by following the attached link." And then essentially it said, if you have an attorney, send this on to your attorney. Well, I don't know. I assumed to be served for a lawsuit, like it had to be like certified mail, like you had to sign somehow that you'd received it. I've never seen that before, that you could sort of be served via email. So when I first got it, I actually was like, well, this is spam, right? Because you do get those crazy spam emails and text messages and phone calls. I don't know, there's so many. I assumed it was spam, but something about it felt official enough that I was like, I'm gonna click into these documents and see. So I start clicking into the documents, and 100% this is if it is a scam, it's the realest looking scam I have ever seen. I mean, all the document and paperwork and all the documents are there, signed by judges. So I'm like, all right, let me just go. And it's out of a district court in Northern Illinois. So I'm like, let me just search the case number and see if this is like a legit case. So I Google it. It is 100% a legit case. And now I'm like, oh my God, like, so I do what any normal person who is just selling on eBay to like bring extra money in for the family would do. And I have a complete panic attack. What I wanted to do was just like bury my head in the sand and like hide. Like, oh my God, is this happening? But I can't do that. And I also can't figure out what product it is. Now, in the documentation they sent me, there are several mentions of hygiene hand, which I was not familiar with. I went through all of my, like, I have a document. I keep a spreadsheet with literally every single thing I have ever sold on eBay, where I sourced it from, all that information. I see nothing with the term hygiene hand. I see hand lotions, but I don't have anything in my spreadsheet. But then as I'm continuing through the documents, there's another document with True Religion on it. So now I'm like, is it jeans? Did I get sued for selling jeans? No, because I haven't actually sold any True Religion jeans. The truth is, I've tried to find them in a while. I never have. But I got very confused because I couldn't quite figure out what it was that I even sold. There was a document that actually, I forget which exhibit it was, but it listed off everyone that was being sued. And there was, I would say, close to 400 different names with email addresses on this document, including mine. And it showed where they had made the sale from. So mine specifically said eBay, and there were like Alibaba, Wish, Amazon, eBay, Etsy. So like wherever these have been sold, these 400 people that are being sued along with me, it did say where we've sold the item. So I knew it was on eBay. So at least I knew to like check my eBay document. But I was like panicked and I didn't know what to do. And obviously, I mean, do I have an attorney and retainer? No, I do not. Of course I do not. I wish that I was the type of person that had an attorney on retainer, but I don't. So I did what, I don't know, at the moment seemed like the right thing to do was, and I responded to the email because I needed to know what item it was. And I kept thinking it was True Religion jeans, which I've never sold. So I write back, I respond to the email to the clerk and I say, could you give me some clarification? I track everything I sell on eBay and I've never sold True Religion jeans. Please advise. And so I got an email back like almost immediately from the clerk. And the beginning of it is we represent the plaintiff and we can't give you legal advice. Please be advised. Right. But like all these legal documents that are in there as attachments, these are like legalese. I don't speak it. It's a language I don't speak. It's foreign to me. And I'm pretty smart. I don't know what these things say. So the clerk writes back and says, essentially, no, this case is for Hygiene Hand. You sold 3 of these. And the other thing that was in the main documents when they sent me was they were claiming that the defendants were counterfeiting, were selling counterfeit items or producing counterfeit items. Like, we know I'm not producing counterfeit items, right? Like, I can't even build a YouTube studio in my basement, let alone produce whatever product this is. So he says you had 3 sales of this item and we're willing to settle with you for $500. And I'm like, so now, but he attaches the documents and here's where it gets crazy. I absolutely sold 3 of these items. I can tell you what it was. It is those little brass handles that you can stick on a door to pull it open or push an elevator button. Like in the middle of COVID when no one wanted to touch anything, you could use these to go out and open doors and push elevator buttons and do all those things without actually touching them with your hands. And I did sell 3. The irony of this is that the 3 that I sold was to the attorney's office. Now, of course, I wasn't paying attention when they went to Chicago. I don't know, but I sold 3 to the attorney's office. So now, of course, yes, you're right. I did sell those. Oh my God. But I was still confused about the True Religion jeans. So I'm like, oh, okay. I write back and I was like, but I'm not understanding. The documentation you sent me also includes True Religion jeans. And I haven't sold those. I must have been I must have really confused them or annoyed them enough that the clerk passed it on to the actual attorney who then emails me back and was like, hi, Liz. Because I'm like, what is going on? So the attorney now emails me and he's just like, no, that is a precedent for the summons I don't even know. Essentially, it was an example of another lawsuit that they used to base this lawsuit off of, which is this company, Hygiene Hand, who is going after counterfeiters and essentially counterfeiters. I don't know. So he does explain to me what that means. And he even mentions something about the $500 settlement. And I'm like panicked. Now, let me tell you the total for the 3 items I sold to the attorney's office. $6.98, something like that. I don't even think it was $7 for all 3 total. So I'm just like $7 in sales and I'm gonna have to pay $500. Like I was freaking out. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Now, of course, I'm searching the internet and I find similar cases by the same attorney's office for a company called So Clean. And I think it was the same type of thing. There was counterfeits out there for them, which were getting sold or resold on the resale market. But I can't find anything on this specific case. So I write back to the attorney again, because now I'm just like, I don't know what to do. So I just basically emailed the attorney back and I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I absolutely sold those. Thank you for the clarification on the paperwork. I was not able to connect the dots. And then I told the truth. I sell on eBay. I'm a mom. I sell with my kids. I'm teaching them to run a business and about cost of goods and profit levels and customer service and responsibility. This is just something I do to bring extra money in during the pandemic. I would never counterfeit an item, nor would I ever sell anything counterfeited. I said, I study the Vero list and I make sure that I never sell anything on the Vero list. If I had gotten any sort of notification that these weren't allowed, I would have removed them and disposed of them immediately. I'm so sorry about this. And that was all the truth. All of that was true. I am so sorry about this. But I don't know what's going to happen. So I send it, and this is all in one day that this is happening, right? So I send the email, and a couple hours later, I get an email back from the attorney, and he says, "Hi, Liz. We actually aren't targeting small U.S. sellers. We've dismissed you and others like you. My clerk can send you the court dismissal. However, our dismissal is conditioned on never finding your store selling trademarked hygiene hand products again. If we find them in the store again, we will pursue these 3 sales and any new ones or listings. Best regards." I'm going to leave his name out because that's not what this is about. What this is about is, thank God, I did get it dismissed against me. It was 24 hours of absolute sheer terror. There was mention in the original paperwork of freezing assets and financial accounts, and all I'm thinking is, like, I am just a small seller. I don't even have an LLC, and I don't have a separate bank account for my eBay versus my regular life. I might get one now because it would have been, it was a nightmare. So I am very grateful. And then they did send me through the dismissal paperwork, so I know it's dismissed, but I can tell you what. A couple things. One, if you get an email like this, don't ignore it. You need to respond. You cannot ignore it. You have to respond. If you don't respond, I'm pretty sure you're just going to get lumped in with everyone else, and nobody wants that. Number 2, I understand companies not wanting their trademark stuff counterfeited. It appears to me that what this lawsuit is actually going after is Chinese companies that are counterfeiting this product and then pushing it into the US market to be sold under the name of the original product. And they do have a patent on this product. So I totally get where they're coming from. I was completely panicked because I thought it was going down. I don't know. I'm like, what can happen here? I sold $7 for the stuff and I'm gonna go to jail. I don't know. It was crazy. I am grateful that it worked out well. This is the other thing I want to mention. I used to love to get those Amazon mystery boxes, right? Like the liquidation Amazon mystery boxes. I will never do that again because the majority of that stuff that you get in those boxes is the kind of thing that just got me sued. It's those little Chinese knockoffs that come private label. It's typically not brand name stuff. It is typically like private label and under the counter stuff. And that is what got me sued. So I will never go down that road again. Now lesson learned, but just make sure if you're selling something that came from Amazon, double check that that product isn't actually trademarked and this is a counterfeit or a knockoff, because that is what happened to me. I am very grateful. I had 3 sales. It was $7. I'm very grateful that I did not get sued, but I thought I was gonna. I can't. Oh my God, guys. So stressful. And it's one of those things where you just don't know. Like, because I do follow the Vero list, like, religiously. I'm very, very careful about not selling things that can't be sold or using even words that you can't use. You can't use the word Velcro, right? It's got to be hook and you can't use the word Velcro, right? There's all kinds of rules, and I'm pretty careful about all of that. So this was a complete shock to me, but it ended well, right? And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to the attorney. I'm grateful to the company that they dropped me out of the lawsuit. They're keeping the foreign sellers in. The ones that were actually shipping it over here, which I think is like Alibaba and things like that. When they sent me the actual dismissal notice, most of the names that are on there under dismissal is eBay and Etsy. So it does look like they are getting rid of the small US sellers. But they didn't have to, right? They had proof that I 100% sold a counterfeit item, not knowingly, but they have proof because I sold it to them and I shipped it to them. So it could have gone either way. I am super grateful, but just keep an eye out. And if this does happen to you, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. You need to answer the email and start the communication, or get a lawyer involved if you need to. In my case, thank God I didn't, because can I afford a lawyer right now? No, I cannot. So that's my crazy wild ride. It was, I am going to be drinking this weekend. That's what I can tell you. Okay. But yeah, so let me know have you ever been sued for something you sold on eBay, or is that just me? Do these things only happen to me? Anyways, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.